Hi everybody, welcome to today's edition of payment processing. A little introduction. Our new payment processor is called Stripe. Our former payment processor was called Moneris. You were using one shopping cart as a tool to create payment links for Moneris. One shopping cart doesn't work with Stripe, so we've found a new and I believe much better way of doing this. And that is called Hivage. I mean, it's a very strange name, but you've had some familiarity with it, and you've seen the screen as well. On Stripe, you don't have to worry about that. You won't see that very often. But what it does is allows us to accept payments at between half a percentage and 1.5% less per transaction, and we can also refund the money back at any time. So all these hassles that we've had in the past about sending out checks and sending money back to people, we won't have with Stripe because we can refund the money back to the client at any time if there's some kind of problem. Okay, so I wanted to show you a few things again and review how we create invoices and show you a couple of tricks that you might not have known about. So if you go to invoices, of course, you have you can create a new invoice. I see a lot of people are already creating some invoices there. Um, you can make an invoice, a regular invoice, or you can make a reoccurring invoice. So I know some of your clients I've seen in the past, they actually want to make payments every month, every week, every 2 months, whatever. You can do that with the recurring invoice option. So if you have any questions about that, you can always click on support at the top of your screen, and you can look at the information about creating a recurring invoice. But it is so actually obvious and crystal clear when you do it, you probably won't need that. You just will set in there the time period, how many times the person's going to pay, and how often they should get the invoice. If they want to get it weekly, monthly, or maybe every 6 weeks, you can send it as well as custom form. So, but let's look at invoices today. Okay, so the invoice name. Now, that is nice because Pablo gets to see that a little bit too when it arrives. Right now, the best thing to do is to put in your tour code here, and as you always did, with the countries. And then you can also give it a name, of course. Okay, the date's in there automatically. This always brings up the old invoice number, but of course you can create a new one. And if right now we'd like you to put in also the file number here, just because it lands on the other side as well. We get an email about that. We see the file number. Pablo will get that in Stripe. He can see that easily. So he can create the invoices in our other system, MyUp, as well. But also add the invoice number here. So you will be able to pull up clients. A lot of clients who fill in more information when they're filling out their forms will be imported here directly. So you can start, of course, typing, and if you see who you want, you can put them in right there. And if not, just click on New Client, fill in as much information as you have. And then there's more information at the bottom where you can put in the telephone number too, which we really appreciate. If we have any questions, we can always get back to the people. Of course, we can always look them up in SharpSpring as well. So with that in there, you can come down here. Here, since you have the invoice information on the top, it doesn't really matter how you want to word it here, but Hivage does allow us to do kind of a trick, and in scientific speak, it's called an elegant solution, and that is to put in the full amount. then so we say here you can put in double, single, whatever if you have multiple lines. Okay, and then what we have set right now is to add discounts for the entire trip. That way, if you have multiple lines, then instead of putting a discount on each line, you can just put it right here. So let's say so our cat is going with us too. He's got to pay a little more for his single room. And then you can add a discount here. So we have a couple of discounts that are set up automatically. As you're using this more, you won't have to worry about having already paid the tour planning remittance. So you'll be creating your first invoice, and that will be for the tour planning remittance. And so you can use this if you're just collecting 20% right away. Just click done, and that's it. If you're doing a value, you can click add here. So the discount name, you can say perhaps you want to tell them exactly when it's due. So and you can put a percent there, or you can put a full amount. So if you put a percent, then of course it would be, and you don't want to save that for use because it's the date. So there it looks like that. So that is just the equivalent of 45 days in advance. If you want to put the value there, you can do it like that. Okay, so they see the amount due. Of course, they see the amount due up here as well. So that's with multiple lines. Now, to give them the different payment options, down here at the bottom are the invoice settings. So here you can change a few different things. Right now, this the default here is cash, check, bank transfer, and Stripe. If you want them to be able to pay with PayPal as well, which for our US clients is okay. For our international clients, it gets really quite expensive, up to 3.9% for transactions. You can add that here. Molly is for Europeans. If you're writing in Euro, then you can use Molly, and they have a few different options, including being able to pay directly from their bank account in Europe. Okay, so if you want to send a custom message, you can come down here too, and you can customize this. So add any information you want, or you can just use a standard message. Please note that I've changed it to Dear and the contact's full name, a little bit more professional that way. But if you want to get more personal and you want to put in your name for this invoice, please feel free to do that. Okay, so what if you have a couple of different people traveling on a similar itinerary? Our best friends and their dog are going on the same itinerary, so actually once we save this, we can create a duplicate invoice as well. Okay, so here's our duplicate invoice. We can go in here and put in and address as well, phone, etc. Please note that the country field that's best to use is the second one down here. Looks like there's a little error here of the two country codes, but if you want to add them both, that's the safest. Okay, so then no, their dog decided not to go, but by the way, if you want to, you can put that up on top. You can drag these very nicely back and forth, or you can get rid of the dog. No, not the dog. Okay, so that one's ready to go. Of course, you can always preview it. You can share it with your team too, because you can only see the invoices that you made. I can see everything here, but if you want to share it with others in your team, especially if you're going on holiday, then you can share it with the team, and they can see it, and they can react to it, take payment, resend the invoice out, etc. Now, invoice activity here, you'll be able to see who created it, when they viewed it, when they paid it, if there were any alterations, who did the alterations, if it was Pablo or me or Rebecca or anybody, or your team colleagues, and exactly when that was done too. So no payments there yet, no discussions, and of course you can up here add a new comment as well, and a new payment you can add as well. So if you want to go back to that invoice, just click up there, and you're back in the invoice. So you can always come back in here and edit it. Okay, so let's look at the view from the client. So this is it. You can actually make a payment in here if you want. Client also can see account statement, print it, and make a PDF. And you can see what their payment options are. Of course, you can always alter this, or your client can as well. And here are the options that are available to them to make the payment. If it's an offline payment, then there's a few different options. They're going to come in and leave bundles of cash. Then they can go there and put a note there, check, bank transfer. They have all the information there, and they can just put their details there. Okay, so you can see the total, and total due is now 3,000. Now, for us, we need to come and enter the payment. We have to confirm, it's unrealized, we have to confirm that we actually got that. So if we did receive that, mark as realized, then it's realized, and you can see what's happened here, and go back to the payment, and of course edit that, and you can remove that, and you can see what's been paid. So don't make sure you wait till you press save before you comment on what's happening on the invoice, because sometimes it'll say have brackets there and say undefined or something like that. But as soon as you hit save, you'll see it, and at the very latest, once you go back into the preview, you'll see what your clients will see. So now you can send that back out if you like, and your client can pay that anytime. Okay, so that was most of what I wanted to show you today. Um, quite good, quite exciting. Um, Remember, you can make duplicate payment options for different clients in your group, and you won't have to re-enter all the information. Okay, that's all for today, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.